Today we're talking about the anatomy of a rejected message, and I want to do something a little bit different today. I want to perform an autopsy. Don't worry, not on a person, but on a LinkedIn message, specifically on the kind of LinkedIn message that gets sent 1,000,000 times a day by smart founders with legitimate offers who just can't figure out why nobody's responding. Because here's the thing, the rejection isn't random. There's a specific anatomy to a message that gets ignored, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll never be able to write a bad outreach message again, and more importantly, you'll finally understand why your inbox has been so quiet. And if you're new here, I work with founders on high-ticket B2B client acquisition on LinkedIn, other social media. We're pipeline focused, we're revenue focused. We are not playing the follower game. And I want to start today with some real field research because I've been collecting these against my will. This message came across this past Monday morning. Hi, Chris. I hope this message finds you well. I wanted to reach out because I came across your profile and I felt compelled to connect. At XYZ Agency, we've helped over 300 companies scale their revenue through our proprietary demand generation framework. I would love to schedule a quick call to explore synergies. Are you available this week? I hope this message finds you well. Finds you well. Look, I've got 3 boys and a teenage daughter. Nothing finds me well on a Monday morning. It's just not an accurate statement. Here's another one. Hey, Chris, congrats on everything you have built. I work with founders at your level to implement systems that generate consistent high-ticket leads on autopilot. We recently helped a client 3x their pipeline in 60 days. Would love to show you how we did it. Open to a quick chat? Congrats on everything you've built. Everything. He doesn't know what I've built. He hasn't even looked. This is the LinkedIn equivalent of my youngest kid waking up and saying, "Dad, you're the best," right before asking me if he can brush his teeth with ice cream. I see through it every time. This is what your high-ticket prospects are dealing with at scale. And today, I want to show you exactly why these messages fail, down to the specific words and structures that trigger the delete response. And I want to show you what to build instead. Let's start with linguistic triggers, or the language itself, because there are specific phrases that function like an alarm system inside a decision maker's brain. The moment these words appear, the message gets classified, not consciously, automatically. Okay, here are the biggest offenders. I hope this finds you well. That phrase has been so thoroughly colonized by sales automation that it no longer reads as human. It reads as, this is a template, and the sender did not edit the opening. It's the first words in a message that are sent to 500 people this week. Delete. I came across your profile. Technically true for everyone, meaningfully true to no one. This phrase signals that your profile was the result of a search filter, not genuine interest. The prospect knows that you're a name on the list. I would love to connect. You're already connected. That's why this message is in their inbox. The phrase is filler that exists because the sender doesn't know how to open with something real. Explore synergies. I want to be very clear about something. Nobody in the history of business has ever been excited to explore synergies. That phrase means nothing. It's a placeholder for an actual reason to talk. Quick chat, brief call, just 10 minutes. These aren't bad on their own, but when they appear in the first message, before any relevance has been established, they signal the sender is optimizing for their calendar, not the prospect's situation. The ask comes before the value. That's the wrong order. I'd love to meet and see how we can help each other. You can rest assured, no one woke up this morning wondering how they can help you. That's just a veiled attempt to get on a call with you, and they don't want to be sold to. They spent too much time in whatever 3 initial networking meeting that they're in. Now, here's why this matters beyond just word choice. Each of these phrases is a signal that the message was written for an audience of hundreds, not for the person reading it. And high-ticket decision makers are extremely good at detecting that signal. It takes them less than 2 seconds. I've timed it on myself. I read a message, I see the pattern, and I'm already looking for the archive button before I even finish the sentence. So maybe you should just lead with your accolades, right? Okay, the language is part of it, But the deeper structural problem is what the message is actually about. The majority of outbound messages on LinkedIn are about the sender. We've helped 300 companies. We recently worked with a Fortune 500 client. Our proprietary framework, our process, our results. And sure, I get it. You're proud of what you've built, and you should be. But here's the thing that I think a lot of people fail to realize. Your prospect doesn't care, not yet. Not because they're cold or not because they're arrogant, because they're busy and they have a problem, and that problem isn't you. The problem is theirs, and until you demonstrate that you understand their problem, you haven't earned the right to talk about your solution. Think about it from the prospect's perspective. They wake up on a Tuesday morning. They've got a leadership meeting at 9, a hiring decision that has dragged on for weeks, a revenue number that they're trying to hit before the quarter closes, and approximately 40 unread LinkedIn notifications. And into that context arrives a message about your proprietary demand generation framework. They're not thinking about your framework. They're thinking about their Tuesday. The message that cut through is the one that can meet them inside their Tuesday, that acknowledges something specific about where they are right now, that demonstrates in the first sentence that the sender has done more than just a search filter. So here's an example of what that looks like versus what most people send. Most people send, we help founders scale their pipeline using a proven outreach system, and I'd love to show you how it works. What actually works is, saw your post last week about the challenge of converting referrals at higher price points. Working through that exact problem with a couple of founders right now and had a thought that might be useful. Same offer, completely different approach. One is about the sender and one is about the prospect's actual situation. One gets deleted, the other one gets a response. The internal shift required here is significant. And you've got to realize it feels counterintuitive to lead without talking about what you do. We've been trained to pitch. The whole default structure of outreach is, who am I, what do I do, and what do I want from you? Flipping that to what I noticed about you, what that tells me about where you are, here's something potentially useful, takes practice. And by the way, this is the research process we walk through live every single week in the Account-Based Marketing Underground. I show founders exactly how to find the friction points and the current context that makes messages land instead of getting archived. It's free. I run it every single week. You can register at abmclass.com. All right, so now that you understand what kills a message, let's talk about what builds one that works. I call this the relevance bridge, and the concept is really simple. Before you write a single word of outreach, you identify one specific current public signal from the prospect's world, and you use that as the foundation for the message. Not a career milestone from 4 years ago. Not that they went to school somewhere that you might have also attended. Something current, something that tells you where they are right now. Here's what to look for. Look at recent content posts, specifically one where they revealed a challenge or asked a question or shared a frustration. A hiring post or recent job listing, because a job description is essentially a public announcement of the problem that they're trying to solve. A company announcement about expansion, a new product or a market shift. A comment they left on someone else's post that reveals a perspective of a pain point. Any of these gives you a relevance anchor, something to open with that demonstrates you saw something real, not that you ran a search and they matched your filters. Here's how the bridge works structurally. First, you reference the specific signal, not vaguely, specifically. The post, the announcement, the comment, name it. Second, you make a connection between that signal and something that you understand deeply about them, not a pitch, a connection. You're essentially saying, I noticed what's happening in your world and it maps to something that I know a lot about. Third, you offer something small and valuable, an insight, a framework, a question that reframes how they're thinking about the problem. not a meeting request, not a pitch deck, something they can actually use in the next 5 minutes if they want to. That three-part structure, signal, connection, useful thing, is the message that gets a response. Now, let me address the thing that I know you're thinking. This sounds like it takes a lot of time. It does, per message. But you're not sending 500 messages anymore, remember? You're sending 10. And those 10 are doing the work that 500 generic messages never could. You know, I actually learned this from my oldest son. When he wants something, he doesn't send a blast message to everybody in the entire house saying, "I hope this finds you well." He picks the moment. He comes specifically to the parent most likely to say yes, and he makes a very targeted ask with exactly the right amount of context. His conversion rate is genuinely impressive. I only say no about 15% of the time. Precision over volume. Every time. Let's talk about the ask, because even when founders nail the opening, sometimes they blow it at the end. The default close on LinkedIn DMs is some version of, "Are you free for a call this week?" And I understand why. You want the meeting. The meeting is the goal, so you ask for it. But here's what that ask signals to a high-ticket prospect on the first touch. It signals that you want something, and more specifically, you want their time. Their most finite resource. In exchange for what? A conversation about what your offer is? That's not a compelling trade-off on the first message. The shift is from asking for a meeting to offering something worth a meeting. Earn the meeting. Instead of, "Are you free for a call this week?" try, "I put together a quick breakdown of how a couple of founders I worked with handled this exact problem. Worth sending over?" Now the ask is not about your calendar, it's about something they might actually want. A yes is low friction. They're not committing to 45 minutes with someone they don't know. They're agreeing to receive something potentially useful. And here's what happens next. You send the thing. It's genuinely good. And now you've established something that no amount of follow-up sequencing can manufacture. You've demonstrated value before asking for anything. At that point, the meeting conversation happens naturally because they have evidence that talking to you is worth time on their Tuesday. This is also how you position yourself as a peer rather than a vendor. Vendors pitch, peers share insights. Vendors ask for time, peers offer value. The framing of how you show up in that first message determines which category you land in. Come with something. Lead with value. The meeting will follow. Okay, so I know what the practical objection here is. This all sounds great, but I cannot spend another hour researching every prospect before I send a message. And that's a valid point. You can't. So let me give you a workflow that makes this scalable without making it robotic. First, narrow your target list aggressively. If you're trying to personalize outreach to 200 people, you've already lost. Pick 10 to 15 accounts per month that genuinely fit your target opportunity pool, not vaguely fit, specifically fit. Right size, right problem, right moment. Second, set up lightweight monitoring on those accounts. Follow them on LinkedIn. Turn on notifications for their company page. You don't need to go buy a sophisticated tool for this. You just need to know when something changes or surfaces in their world. Third, create a signal log, a simple document or spreadsheet where you note what you observe about each account. Recent posts, hiring patterns, leadership changes, content themes. You're not doing deep research every day. You're just paying attention over time and capturing what you see. Then, when a strong signal appears, that's your trigger to reach out. Not a scheduled sequence, not a drip campaign, a specific moment when you have something real and relevant to say. This workflow takes about 30 minutes a week once you have your targeted list built, and that's it. The output is outreach that feels handcrafted because it is, and it's efficient. Are you cool if I challenge you? Good. Take your next 100 generic messages that you're going to send out and turn them into 10 targeted ones. Just try it once. Run both approaches for about a month. I'll bet you the 10 outperform the 100 on meetings booked. not close, not comparable. The 10 are going to win. And if you want help building out the actual research and the targeting workflow, that's exactly what we do every week inside the ABM Underground. Live sessions, real people, real accounts, real process, free. I'm going to put the link on the screen somewhere. Just go to abmclass.com and I'll see you in there. You know, the anatomy of a rejected message is not complicated once you see it. It leads with the sender, not the prospect. It uses language that signals automation. It asks for time before offering value, and it treats a human being like a conversion rate. The fix is not better copy. It's a different starting point entirely. Start with them. Build relevance before you reach out. Offer something real before you ask for anything, and let the meeting be a natural next step rather than a direct ask. Do that consistently with a short list of well-researched accounts, and your outbound results will look nothing like they do right now. abmclass.com if you want to get inside the live workshop, free every week. Come and hang out and learn. And now would be a genius time to subscribe to this channel because I release new content like this every single week. And if you've got kids, specifically teenagers, let me just say this. The research, the patience, and the precision over volume approach, it works on both audiences. Results might vary with the teenagers, though. Mine have figured out my framework, and they're now using it against me. But that's cool with me. And while everything that I just taught you is important, it might not be the only thing that you need right now. So I'm going to let YouTube put some sort of a link on the screen right now of a video that they think is important to you. Why don't you go ahead and check that out right now, and I'll see you in the next one.